Okay, so today we're going to talk about Star Wars, as you may have guessed. The reason for it is because recently my brother asked me, because of the pandemic, for my advice on which order to watch the Star Wars movies in. As he was self-isolating at home, he decided that he was going to watch them all, and he asked me, and the question he asked was, timeline order or release order? And my answer to him was Flashback Order. Now let me justify this. You could just watch Star Wars in any order, because let's face it, he and I, and probably a lot of you, are of a generation, we've seen Star Wars so many times, we know the stories inside out. There's no surprises, and there's nothing that would be affected by changing the order. Okay? So you can watch it generally anywhere you want. You can watch one film, skip another, watch another, doesn't really matter. However, if you watch it in release order, let's go through that one. So the release order would be Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope, followed by The Empire Strikes Back, followed by Return of the Jedi. Then you go to the prequels, The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and then Revenge of the Sith. Then you come to the sequel trilogy. So we got The Force Awakens, then you've got Rogue One, then you've got The Last Jedi, and then Solo, and then finally The Rise of Skywalker. That is the release order. And there's nothing wrong with the release order if that's how you want to watch it. That's how we all consumed it originally anyway. So timeline order, let's get onto that one. The timeline order goes like this. You've got The Phantom Menace, then Attack of the Clones, then Revenge of the Sith, and then Solo, then Rogue One, then A New Hope, followed by The Empire Strikes Back, then Return of the Jedi, and the sequel trilogy, Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. That is the timeline order to watch the films. Again, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with the timeline order if that's how you want to watch it. For me, I really struggle with the prequel trilogy. I struggle mostly with The Phantom Menace, and I hold my hands up, I am not a Jar Jar Binks fan. My sister likes Jar Jar Binks. I think she's the one person in the planet who actually does, apart from Ahmed Best, who played him. But yes, I've never met anybody apart from my sister that likes Jar Jar Binks, and I really struggle to watch The Phantom Menace for that reason. There's only two reasons for me to watch The Phantom Menace, and that is the pod race and the fight with Darth Maul at the end. Any other nothing. The Phantom Menace for me, I wish it didn't exist, but as the promotional material says, every journey has a first step. So you've got to start somewhere. So yeah, that's the one I least enjoy watching. So then you've got Attack of the Clones, which is marginally better. And then my favourite of the prequel trilogy is Revenge of the Sith, for obvious reasons. And maybe it isn't obvious, it is to me, and the reason is because it's basically the fall of Anakin Skywalker and the birth of Darth Vader. And that for me, as a 70s kid, Darth Vader is the epitome of cool, the epitome of evil, and his story was the one I really wanted to see, and I really enjoyed it. It was good. So for me, I struggle with the timeline order quite a bit. I struggle to get through The Phantom Menace. I just can't do it. So yeah, for me, I like this flashback order. And the flashback order, what it does is it's great for new viewers. If you've got youngsters that you want to watch the series with, or your partner that's never seen it before that's interested in watching it, you can watch the flashback order. And what it does is it starts with a newer film to get the newer viewers into it. So you're not starting with a film that's best part of 40 odd years old. You're starting with a newer film of Solo, A Star Wars Story. that's where you start the flashback order from. So you go from Solo into Rogue One. So you're getting stories of on the ground, guys that have an influence on the larger story, but are not the main Skywalkers. You don't meet them till a little bit later. And then once you've gone from Rogue One, there's only one way to go, and that's into A New Hope, because the segue from Rogue One to A New Hope is pretty much seamless. Absolutely brilliantly done. And I take my hat off, I would take my hat off to whoever came up with that idea. And the ending of Rogue One paints Darth Vader as we all wanted to see him. Superb. So we've gone from Solo to Rogue One, then into A New Hope. You then follow A New Hope with The Empire Strikes Back. So far we're getting into the story. We've learned that the Empire is a big evil entity, and then right at the end of The Empire Strikes Back you get that paternal twist. So you learn one of the biggest shockers in cinema history, which you and I probably already well know, but newer viewers wouldn't know that necessarily. So watching it in the flashback order preserves that massive cinema defining paternal twist at the end of The Empire Strikes Back. That's when it changes. That's when it kicks into a flashback. You then go back and learn Anakin Skywalker's story. So after The Empire Strikes Back, you then go into Phantom Menace, then Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, to learn more about the Jedi Order, learn more about the history, learn more about this character and how he went from Jedi Master, or at least Padawan, from a Jedi to the biggest villain in the galaxy. You want to know why that happened. What was it that caused that to happen? So watching it in a flashback order allows you to do that. So once you've done Revenge of the Sith and you are now back on track, you come back then to Return of the Jedi. So you go from Revenge of the Sith to the Return of the Jedi. That picks up the story where you left off, and now you've got more of a sense of who Anakin Skywalker is, and Darth Vader has gone from villain to victim, and you have a sense of you want to save him just as much as Luke does. So you're on Luke's side. You believe that there is good still in Darth Vader when you come back to Return of the Jedi. So then after Return of the Jedi, you then go into the sequel trilogy, which is The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and finally The Rise of Skywalker. So that's the flashback order, okay? What it does is it takes the prequels and frames them as a flashback, and it preserves the paternal twist, it preserves all the turns and all the highs and lows for new viewers, and it also reframes the story for us older viewers into just something different. We all know the story really well anyway, but to watch it, it just refreshes it a little bit. So it keeps it interesting and it keeps it updated. And for me, it is my 100% preferred viewing order. So that's the flashback order. Whichever order you want to watch Star Wars in is up to you. That is your choice. But if I was to recommend a watch order, flashback every time.
Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe to see all future content.